In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add a base to the mug that we are creating in class. So for this one, I'm going to use a lot of the same materials that I used to make the cylinder portion. I have my canvas square to work on, I have my sticks on either side, and I have my rolling pin. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, where I start to roll it out. I'm going to flip it this way so it starts stretching this direction. And then I'm going to check and make sure that it's going to fit the bottom, which it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tool, and you could even do like a pencil for this. And I'm just going to trace around it. So that I have the right size circle for the base. I wouldn't try to cut when it's on here. I would take it off and do that afterwards. It's just a little bit easier. All right, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut out my circle. And then take off the extra. All right, at this point, because I'm going to be attaching clay together, I have to do that slip and score technique that I talked about last time. So you take a fork, dip it in the slip, and you're going to scratch up that surface. And again, if the clay that you're working with happens to be a little drier, like particularly if this piece got a little dried out, you're going to make sure you use extra slip on there. And I'm going to do the same thing on here. And I want to make sure that I scratch up that surface really good so that it'll stay together. All right, then I'm going to carefully put this back on. And I'm going to put gentle pressure on there because I want it to really stick together. And then I have to do that smooth part, where at this point I can still see where I attached it, and I don't want to see that. So I have that same tool that I can use, and I would leave this flat on here when you do that, but just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to hold it up. And so you can see by just scraping up, that seam starts to disappear. If you have any extra, like I've got a little extra coming out right there. You could cut it out, or you can use any tool that has like a little loop at the end. This one, I'd probably need a loop that's a little bit bigger, but you can use that to scrape off extra clay that you don't want. And you can also smooth with your hands as well. All right, so you're going to be going around and continuing to smooth this as much as possible. The other tool that's really helpful is if you're starting to notice that your clay is starting to crack a little bit, if you take one of these tools, you can curve it by putting your thumb in the middle, and then by holding it in one hand, you can kind of scrape, and it'll help to smooth out any imperfections. So this is another great tool for smoothing things that are round like cylinders. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can add a handle and some different ways that you can do that.